Friends, let's see adenomyosis today. This is the main cause of dysmenorrhea. So if you have a patient of dysmenorrhea, this can be one of the reasons why she is having pain during her menstrual cycle. It's a benign disease of the uterus, but in which there is ectopic endometrial glands and stroma present within the myometrium. In the myometrium, inside the uterine cavity, endometrium is normally present. But if this endometrial glands and stroma is actually present inside the myometrium, it will menstruate according to the hormones present in the body, and that will lead to the pain, and that is what is called as adenomyosis. It is associated with myometrial hypertrophy, and this hypertrophy may be diffuse or focal. In chronic pelvic pain, in which women had hysterectomies done for pelvic pain, it has been found that 15 to 25% patient had adenomyosis. So you can understand that it is present in a population where hysterectomy was done for chronic pelvic pain which was not getting subsided with medical management. The incidence of adenomyosis was almost around 25%. Adenomyoma is the focus of adenomyosis within a fibroid. Adenomyosis within a fibroid is called adenomyoma. The gland tissue grows during the menstrual cycle, and then at menses they tries to slough the old tissue and the blood. It cannot get escaped out of the restricted myometrial cavity. It's not called cavity actually, because there would be collection. Normally what happens, endometrial glands, when they shed off, they come out of the uterine cavity in the form of menses. But here these endometrial glands, which are hypertrophied under the hormonal influence, they are getting shed off, but they have no way to come out. So they are getting localized and collected in that, and this trapping of blood and tissue causes uterine pain in the form of monthly menstrual cramps. It can also produce abnormal uterine bleeding. This condition can also be associated with fibroid uterus, endometriosis, or C. endometrium. Endometriosis again kind of related with adenomyosis, where the endometrial tissue is present outside the uterine cavity at abnormal places. That is endometriosis, like ovary, fallopian tube, pouch of Douglas, peritoneal cavity. And in adenomyosis, it is present inside the myometrium. What are the symptoms? Pelvic pain, backache, or dyspareunia. This dysmenorrhea, that means painful menstruation, is progressive. Means patient who had no dysmenorrhea before would either start having it, or she had some sort of dysmenorrhea, but now it is going on increasing in size as the time is passing. So progressively increasing dysmenorrhea is a classical symptom of adenomyosis. There can also be progressive menorrhagia, which is unresponsive to hormonal therapy or surgical curettage, which is done. There can also be subfertility or abortions. So the classical presentation is cyclic cramping uterine pain, which begins later in the reproductive life, generally after 35 years, and it is often associated with prolonged and heavy menses. So dysmenorrhea along with menorrhagia is suggestive of adenomyosis. Usually the women presenting is parous around 40 years of age. On examination, the uterus is found to be symmetrically enlarged, almost of the size of 16 to 14 weeks of pregnancy. Sometimes the uterus feels soft and boggy on pelvic examination, but sometimes it feels hard, that it may be associated with fibroids. If you keep doing repeated bimanual examination of this patient over several months, you will find the change before the menses and after the menses because of change in the consistency, contour and size of the adenomyoma. Hysterosalpingography, it shows the presence of ill-defined areas of contrast intravasation extending perpendicularly from the uterine cavity into the myometrium. So you can see the intravasation of the dye. The dye it should be present only in the uterine cavity, and there should not be any intravasation into the myometrium. But you will see in adenomyosis this dye getting intravasited exactly perpendicular from the uterine cavity into the myometrium, and that's the most characteristic feature of adenomyosis hysterography or hysterosalpingography. But sensitivity of this technique is low for the diagnosis. On ultrasound, it will have ill-defined hypoechoic areas. There would be heterogeneous myometrial echotexture. There would be some small anechoic lakes where the collection is there. Uterus would be asymmetrically enlarged. There can be indistinct endometrial and myometrial borders seen. Subendometrial halo thickening would be there. And the most predictive is ill-defined heterogeneous echotexture within the myometrium. So if you keep looking at the myometrium, you will see that the echotexture is variable at different places, and it's called as heterogeneous echotexture. MRI, it's an excellent technique. It tells us about fibroid, cyst and adenomyomas. Even if they are of 5 mm size, greater are picked up. MRI may be able to lead us to expect adenomyosis if the myometrial thickness is increased or the consistency of the myometrium is changed. It was superior to TVS for diagnosis of adenomyosis because it shows hypo or anechoic areas. It has higher specificity than TVS and thus the sensitivity increases. Diagnosis: always a good gynecologist suspect adenomyosis based on the clinical factors, but the final diagnosis is always on histopathological examination once the hysterectomy is performed. So no investigation is very definite to label the patient as having adenomyosis, even though they can be supportive to our clinical findings. So clinical suspicion in patients with severe progressively increasing dysmenorrhea along with menorrhagia gives the doubt. Investigations are supportive, but the final diagnosis is only on histopathological examination. The management: GnRH agonists, they reduce the adenomyomas in size, or even the adenomyotic uterine size they reduce, and they increase fertility in case if the patient is infertile. In infertility before the laparoscopic surgery greatly decreases surgical difficulty. If we are planning for laparoscopic surgery, this GnRH agonist, they decrease the size of the tumor and makes the surgery easier and even decreases blood loss. Other drugs used are danazol or Mirena, that's an IUCD which releases progesterone and takes care of menorrhagia. Even transcervical resection of endometrium can be tried. Localized excision in case of localized adenomyosis can also be tried. Uterine artery embolization is an effective and safe method in the treatment of adenomyosis, but the recurrence rate is not yet evaluated. So this is still under trial and we'll come to know about its efficacy later. The only definitive treatment for adenomyosis is total hysterectomy with or without ovarian conservation. If the patient is young, we always conserve the ovaries. If the patient is menopausal or perimenopausal, then we can go ahead with total abdominal hysterectomy with salpingo-oophorectomy. Depending on the size of the uterus, we can decide the mode, whether abdominal or vaginal hysterectomy. So this finishes with adenomyosis. Thank you.